You are at the almighty Church of Rock with a great legendary punk band from Berkeley, California called FANG, featuring Sam McBRIDE, a.k.a. Sammytown, on the vocals. You are at the Church of Rock with Reverend Moody and Sister Tracy. We've got Sammytown on the phone. We're going to speak with him in just a second. That's going to be rad.
Can't wait.
Yeah, we've got a smoke break on the way this evening. Brenna Dean from 100 Watt Mind will be here to play live. We've got Roots of Rock with Sister Tracy on the way. But right now, let's go ahead and knock on wood and hope that the phone lines work fine. We've got Sammytown on the line. What's up, brother?
Hi, hold on.
Hello?
Can you hear me?
I sure can.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
How's things going in Oregon?
Dude, they're going pretty good, man. The snows have cleared away. We are out and about being busy again, man.
Good. Yeah. Oakland's not bad. A little bit warmer, I imagine, than where you're at.
Yeah. What's the weather down there? I hate to talk weather, but what is it? What is the weather there?
Oh, I don't know. It's probably about 50 degrees right now. It's not too bad.
Oh, we're jealous.
Yeah.
But we had a busy weekend at the shop, though, because it was Friday the 13th. So on Friday, things were pretty crazy. So
yeah. Do people tend to get more tattoos on Friday the 13th?
We did 200 tattoos at our shop on Friday.
You're kidding me.
Yeah, so that was pretty. That's the last two times we've done, around 200 or maybe a little more, and so that's kind of getting to be standard. Usually, we were doing about 150 regularly, but yeah, the last two times we actually did around 200 or maybe a little more than 200.
That's crazy. I wonder what is it you think that makes people want to come in and get a tat on Friday the 13th as opposed to any other day?
Right. I mean, it's cheap, so that's absolutely one. That's one of the reasons, most places that do it, like we do $13 tattoos with a $7 tip, so it's like $20.
Oh, okay. Well, that explains it then.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of people that it's like a tradition, kind of like there's a couple people that I know that's the only time they get tattooed. They have like a beginning of a sleeve of tiny little Friday the 13th tattoos. It's kind of funny.
Wow, what a trip. Learn something new every day.
Yeah, right. So what's the name of your shop down there, Sammy? Are you the owner there?
Yeah, me and I have a business partner. We're called Tiger's Blood Social Club, and we're in Alameda. It's right next to Oakland.
Nice, man. I hear you guys do some good work. I saw some of your stuff recently, and pretty impressive, man.
Yeah, we have also the other thing we have in the shop is the Ryan Almighty's Museum of the Macabre and Cabinet of Curiosities. And so we've got all kinds of crazy stuff. Ryan's a tattoo artist that moved from New York to California, and he works at the shop now, and he brought his whole collection. I just got one of Gigi Allen's T-shirts.
Nice.
And, yeah, it says, eat SH beep T.
Wow.
Thanks for that.
No problem. Trying to be good. In Gigi's blood on the back of it.
Wow, that's a nice thing for the old museum.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was just something I got from my homeboy Mike McCarthy. He actually lives in Portland now, but he's originally from Boston. And but we've been getting some interesting stuff. Ryan's got a bunch of serial killer art there, and various other just like. So if anybody's ever in the Bay Area, they should come by and check out the museum and get tattooed, but definitely check out the museum too.
Hey, what's the most extreme tattoo you've ever put on somebody?
That's funny you said. I just did a nun blowing a unicorn horn. Like a unicorn, and the horn is like a nun is like blowing the unicorn's horn on this woman's foot. That was like 3 weeks ago. It was pretty epic. When she showed me what she wanted, I was pretty excited about it because it was so good.
Yeah, that's not something you see every day. That's pretty original.
Yeah, no, there's a van driving around Oakland that actually has it painted on the side of the van.
What?
So she's taken a picture of this van and shown me it, so I took their idea and I redrew it, and then we we tattooed it on her foot, and it so that was a great idea. Whoever has this van, I'm waiting to like flag them down so I can show them the tattoo I did as an homage to their original idea.
Right on.
They're going to love it, man.
Yeah.
So you guys just did a tour of, I know you played in Cuba. Was that correct?
Yeah, we did Cuba and Mexico with Verbal Abuse, and that was when was it? It was August, I guess. We were out there. FANG and Verbal Abuse were the first like American hardcore punk rock bands to ever have to play in Cuba.
That's awesome, man. Congrats.
Yeah, it was an amazing opportunity, and Cuba was amazing. It was really interesting. It was done through. It had there's a promoter down there, and he's done metal, but he hadn't done punk rock, and so we were able to go down there, and we played 7 shows in Cuba, and then we also played Merida, Mexico. We were the first American punk rock bands to ever play in Merida. We've had a few shows since then now in Mexico, and played some more shows in Mexico, and then played in Mexico City, and then came back home. But it was an amazing trip. Cuba is really, really different in a lot of ways.
Yeah. So were the Cuban fans? Did you find them pretty receptive? I know a lot of times when punk bands play in South American countries, Brazil, places like that, they get a really, really good reception. Did you find that was the case in Cuba as well?
Absolutely. I found that the people that showed up for shows, because it wasn't like the people that came knew, any of the bands that were playing. It wasn't like, they were just showing up, and they were young, like the average, like 15 to 20-year-olds.
Nice.
A really young crowd that were just hungry for music, and for things, alternative music. And it was incredible. It was like festivals, sort of like they would shut a street off and build a stage, and it was like, there'd be hundreds and hundreds of people that would show up. And like I said, it wasn't like they knew who the bands were, but they were just there to see the live music.
Yeah,
and,
just there to rock out.
Right. And so I definitely will go back at some point. It's probably going to be a couple years and we can do it again, but I definitely want to go back. And also, I'm glad we got into Cuba, because everything's about to change in Cuba.
Yeah, I know a lot of the sanctions have been lifted and so forth.
Right. So I think that in the next 5, especially 10 years, Cuba will be very different. But now it's still, pretty much the way it has been for a long time. And it's interesting. There's no homelessness. There's no homeless in Cuba, and there's no hunger.
Interesting, man.
But by the same token, there is also, you don't have a lot of variety. There's not a lot of choices, at the same time. So it's kind of a contradiction in a lot of ways. And there's some places like in Havana that, to me, feel sort of very post-apocalypse in a way, almost like, Mad Max in a way.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah, well, they'd have like, it would be like old shopping, like a 50s Sears, like a Sears store or J.C. Penney's, like an old department store. But it shut down, 40 years ago. And then it had been appropriated by all these people that had just set up like little stalls and were selling shit inside, like this broken down department store.
Wow. Yeah. It's kind of very post-apocalyptic.
Yeah. It was like, I tried to take some pictures, and I did take some pictures, but it just didn't do it justice. It was really interesting.
Wow. That is a trip, man. Wow.
Yeah. I definitely want to go back. And I love playing in Mexico and Mexico City. The people down there were also really receptive. There's a big punk rock flea market that they do in Mexico City called Del Chopo, and that was just insane. It was just like
That'd be cool.
Bands come from all over the world to play it, and it's like this huge open air punk rock flea market in Mexico City that they do. I think they do it twice a month, I think.
Wow, man.
But that was also amazing.
You know, recently you sent me one of your new songs. It's called "This Means War," and it was some heavy stuff, man. I'm wondering about the new album, or if you have a new album that's out or coming out soon.
Right, we've been writing music to do the new album. We're about done with the writing, and so right now I'm sort of looking for new labels. We were on Malt Soda, but they're really not putting stuff out that much anymore. So now that we've got most of the songs written, and some of them we've been pre-recording on some of them, like that one that I sent you, we're looking around maybe for a new label, and we definitely want to get the album out by July, because we're going back to Europe. We're playing in Rebellion in August.
Nice.
And I think we're on another festival in Copenhagen with Discharge at the end of July.
Rad.
So I want to get the album out. But that song and a lot of the stuff that we've been writing, it's certainly it's the angriest FANG record that I've ever written. You know, that I think that given what's happened politically, it's time to get, you know, if you're not pissed, then there's something wrong.
Yeah, if you're not on somebody's watch list by now, then you're doing something wrong.
Exactly. You know, and I think that myself, and I think a lot of other people, but for myself, you know, as far as, you know, things have been kind of just cruising along, and I've gotten fairly complacent, you know, and but I even before Donald Trump won the election this last year, I've you know, watching the fact that I was kind of blown away that he even was considered a real candidate, you know, by some of the things.
A lot of people were.
Right.
Yeah.
And I've just gotten, you know, more and more pissed about it, you know, and so that is definitely what is reflected in not only the music but the lyrics.
So I know, sorry to interrupt, but I know so FANG hasn't really in the past been what you would call, you know, a political per se punk band. So are you finding that just kind of the climate lately has made you write those types of songs, or do you think it's more just that you know, having gotten a little older, you're just becoming a little more, you know, involved, a little more concerned about things like that? Or do you think it's just, you know, because of everything being what it is this past year?
I mean, I think that you're right. FANG was never considered a political band. I think early on we were the antithesis of political band.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, that we were just nihilist, nihilist drug addict fuck-ups, you know.
That's why I was attracted to Sammy in the first place.
Right. But there was also a part of that even though we never claimed to be political, just by making the choices that we made, you were making a statement.
Right,
you know?
right.
So, you know, that when you, like for me, you know, in 1979 in high school, having my ear pierced and having blue hair, that was a statement. And I mean, that was a statement that I got, you know, jumped and you know, got in many fights and got beat down a number of times in school just for looking like that, you know. So although FANG was never a political band, there was, you know, even way back then, I was still pissed about the way things were and was making a statement.
Amen.
But I think that as time has gone by, you know, there were a lot of bands back then who were making political statements, you know, like MBC and a lot of other bands that were, you know, I mean, Dead Kennedys that were saying some important stuff. And we were more on the nihilist side of things. But the way things have gotten and you know, maybe just time and everything like that gotten me to a place where I can't. If I'm going to make music, then I need for it to say something.
That's awesome.
You know, and especially given what's happening right now, you know, people have to, you know, they have to pick a side, you know, and it's if you have any kind of voice, I guess that's what it is too for me. It was brought to my attention. If you have any kind of voice, then you need to say something.
Well, yeah, you kind of have, in a way, you could say that you have a kind of a social responsibility. You know,
right?
People are
right.
listening to you. They're listening to your words, and you have some influence. So, you know, I mean, it's up to you to kind of say what needs to be said.
Now is the time to start saying something.
Right.
Good one. Oh, man. Well, dude, I'm glad that you're still pissed off and even more pissed than ever, man. I'm glad you're still doing it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what else I do with myself, you know, but we definitely are, you know, hopefully we'll get this album out by July. We're going back out on the road in February. We have a short rundown to, we're playing Phoenix, Vegas, and then some shows in Southern California in February. And then we'll focus on getting the record out, and then we'll take off to Europe. But
yeah, we'd love to have you back here in Southern Oregon, man.
Yeah, it's been a while. We're about due for another show, another great basement show in Medford.
Hell yeah.
The Medford Pirate Punks will hook it up for you. Last time was a great show, man. That was killer.
That was awesome. And, you know, that's like still some of my all-time favorite shows have been basement shows. You know, that's where punk rock exists. It exists in the basement, you know, and that's where the energy is. And yeah, that was a great show in the Medford basement. You know? Well,
next time you come around this area, let us know, brother. We're going to let you go and play some FANG tunes, but we wanted to say thanks a million, you know, for taking the time to be on the show again. You've been on before, and hopefully we'll have you on down the road again, bro.
All right. Well, thanks for asking me. I really appreciate it.
We appreciate you, my brother. Thanks so much, Sammy. And, you know, rock on, brother. We wish you many more years.
All right, bro. You take care. You guys take care.
You
Thanks,
too, brother.
Sammy.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.